giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. We back. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. We are live in the building. Got a good show lined up today. Hopefully, I won't keep it too terribly long, but we're going to continue our hindsight series featuring the defensive ends and why depth was important this year. Why it was important and who I thought made the biggest leap, as you can see, one here, Dorance Armstrong. So we'll highlight him, get some buy, sell, hold action, greatest performances, things like that. Put on some film. We'll also update you guys on Cowboys news and notes and happenings around your Cowboys in the roundup, and then we'll hit the Twitter streets. Real crazy thing happened in that, not even in that game, in both games on Sunday, betting wise. So we'll hit the Twitter streets and see how interesting that was and some of your craziest bets later on in the show. Feel free to call in if you want. 351-999-3787, 351-999-3787. We already got our day ones, our regulars in the building. Shout out to you guys for joining early in the morning. That's what I love about this. We're every day. That's what makes A to Z Sports Dallas so special. It's every single day. We're going to provide you Cowboys content, hopefully on time, but at a certain time. But we'll be consistent, and that's the key, right? Be consistent and be quality and be real, and that's what we try to do here. So salute to y'all in the building. Stevie Mack, the My God, Fresh Fade, Nation Latham, Alpha Mason, Frankie Franchise. I'm not even going to butcher this. Y'all know me. We just going to say K-A-Z. Adrian Padilla, Captain America. What's up, brother? What else we got here? Spot, Can You Save Me? Bro, Tariq, Irvin Simmons, Mike Harris, B. Bird. My guy, B. Bird, has an excellent point right there, and I want to get to that later, B. Bird, so make sure you remind me about that. Mark Canella, 34, Blackula, Sully. Who else we got here? Daniel F., Jacob in the building, Adam Mack, Bear 24, Nisi, Mark Anthony, Jonathan Scruggs, NFZ, Dro the Gooner, and on Facebook we got Corey in the building, Lance Bell, Nolia, CJ Richards, Peter Rizzo, Chuck P. I hope I didn't butcher your name, NB. I hope I didn't butcher your name. My apologies. I'm not too great with those. But I appreciate you guys joining me. And, I see we already have some takes flying off in here. Definitely save those takes because I definitely want to talk about it. Some trade action you got going on in here. And I want to talk about it. Y'all know me. I love talking Cowboys with the nation. I learn from y'all as well. So hit me up, 351-999-3787, or I'll hit the chat and we can talk as well. But first, before we get into the roundup, yesterday we started our draft coverage, at least here myself. We started the draft coverage doing our NFL draft spotlight, prospect spotlight, and I highlighted Kenyon Green, offensive tackle, offensive guard. If you can't tell, if you follow me on Twitter, you can. I'm in the lab right now on offensive linemen. I looked at Kennard. I've looked at Kenyon Green, and then I cannot pronounce the guy's name. The high pick, I forget his name, but he's not even in our range, so I didn't really go all the way in on him. But Green was the first guy that I studied. The next one would be offensive guard wise, tackle wise, will be the cat from Boston College. And I dropped just a little bio on Kenyon Green, the versatile offensive tackle, offensive guard. If you guys want to check that out, I will. I think it is Liam Primetime Phil. Here is Iquanu. I didn't want to butcher his name, Carson Smith and Mark Anthony, everybody else. I think Iquanu is a guy's name. I looked at those three. I don't think Iquanu is going to be in our range, but it's very possible that Kennard and Kenyon Green could be. Kennard's coming up next week. We'll do our brief bio on Kennard, and I figure we'll do this every Monday. I'll just drop a quick little bio, not a long video, something for those who aren't all the way in depth into draft can kind of understand and see, attach some footage to it, and hopefully you guys enjoy that. And in between then, we'll have draft shows with, Brian Broaddus. We'll try to get Vach on here. We'll try to get Jeff Kavanaugh, any of the most respected draft minds in the community. I will try to get on this show, trust and believe me. Because I get into the lab after the season and things like that just to be familiar with these guys. But I'm not going to pretend I'm Todd McShay. I'm not going to do that. I like to see things from my own eyes, give my own opinions, but I do love to listen to those that are really in tune to this, and I try to bring that here for you guys as well. So take a look at that if you can, and we'll kind of get some opinions on those players as we move forward. With that said, y'all, let's hit this roundup and get into some of the news of the day.
Looking at my Gucci, it's about that time.
It's time! It's time!
It's time!
It's time!
It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Strive for progress, not perfection. Fitness goals are not accomplished with one workout. Progress towards your goals with Texas Family Fitness. Whether it be weight loss, strengthening up, toning up, sports, or stress relief, our friends over at TFF have everything you need. So check out any of the 9 locations in the DFW area or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com. First up, a couple Pro Bowl news. Dak Prescott passed up going to the Pro Bowl as an alternate, excuse me. And this was what Todd Archer had to say about it. He said, with Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson added to the Pro Bowl roster today, I'm told Dak Prescott passed on playing to give himself some rest after a long year of rehab from the ankle, the calf, and other ailments that cropped up during the season. A lot was made of this on Twitter about, see, Dak Prescott was hurt. I'm still not giving him that excuse. I'm sorry. He was healthy enough to play through it. He did play through it, and he made plays injured. No player is 100%, right? So I'm not giving that excuse. But that's not to say he didn't gut it through. Like, salute to him for gutting it through. But you were out there, you were able to play, and I thought he played. We saw him make plays, quote unquote, injured. So I'm not really hearing any of that. I think it's in his best interest to not play anyway. I mean, clearly you are hampered, and if you are hampered in any way or injured in any way, you should not be in this game. This ain't the game for that. These are for the young bucks. And I know Kurt and Russell are going, but I personally think this game is for the young bucks. I don't think veterans should be playing in this game, in my opinion. I don't think they got nothing to prove. And that goes for Tyron Smith too. Tyron Smith somehow got into the Pro Bowl this year. And not that when Tyron played, I thought he was Pro Bowl worthy. But when you miss 6-7 games in and out of other games, I don't know how you can get to the Pro Bowl on like 9 complete games. I think that's crazy to me. But Tyron Smith got voted in, and he decides to back out also due, for obvious reasons, health. Right? He barely could play as it is in the playoff game. Offensive tackle DJ Humphries took his place in the Pro Bowl. Ironically, the guy who missed the Arizona Cardinal game at Dallas couldn't take advantage of it. Anyway, seems to be a theme. But another player who did go to the Pro Bowl, get elected as an alternate, was CeeDee Lamb. He was announced he will be making the Pro Bowl, second-year wideout. Had 79 receptions, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's the good. The bad, he struggled with drops. He didn't record a touchdown in the last 8 games, and he was MIA in the postseason playoff game. Not all his fault, obviously, but it was a weird second half of the year. He made some catches, but he had some drops. He didn't score touchdowns, but he had some decent games. It was a strange second half of the season, and really not just for him. The entire offense. Right? But so there we go. Dak Prescott backs out as well as Tyron Smith, but CeeDee Lamb slides in. And then finally, we're not out the water yet, Cowboys Nation, on the defensive side of the ball in regards to the coaching staff. Now, the Cowboys got the big fish, right? They got Dan Quinn back. But Joe Witt Jr. remains a hot candidate. He remains a hot candidate in the coaching circles. Apparently, according to reports, he has 6 different interviews lined up per sources for defensive coordinator, which could be a problem for Dallas. Now, I'll tell you this. You got the big fish back. Boom. I'm good with that. But we highlighted last week how important Joe Witt Jr. is as a defensive backs coach. I showed you guys the numbers. It's not a coincidence that the teams he goes to, they tend to get more interceptions. I would love to keep him here for that reason. But Joe definitely deserves to be a defensive coordinator. If I was Jerry, and that's the thing with Jerry and these defensive assistants, he doesn't care. Like if he was the Kellen Moore of defensive assistants, Jerry would throw everything at him and say, Joe Witt, there's a pretty good chance Dan Quinn may not be here next year or 2 years. Hold out, and I promise you, you will have your dream job of being the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Throw all the money at him, keep him in-house. But they don't really seem to care about the defensive side of the ball. So they let some of the good defensive coordinators just go and walk out the door. So if he really truly has 6 interviews lined up and he wants to be a DC, I'm sure one of those teams could hire him. But my fingers are crossed, just like Dan Quinn. When I thought Dan Quinn was out the door, he wasn't. So maybe Joe Witt Jr. isn't out the door as well. Huh? Mark said Jerry threw money at DQ. Yeah, he did extend him, give him a contract extension. Hopefully, that's the crazy thing about DQ. If he has a good year, he won't be back next year probably. But you want him to have a good year. You don't want him to have a bad year just to keep him around. It's catch-22 with these coaches, man. It's catch-22. He absolutely deserves to be a defensive coordinator. I'm just hoping it's here in Dallas in like 2 years or something. There you have it. Your morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Adrian says Joe Witt Jr. needs to leave as he has absolutely earned a defensive coordinator spot. Needs to. You don't need to leave. We need him here. But yeah, he's definitely earned it. He's been coaching defensive backs since 2006 or something like that. It could be going back further than that. Like I said, we showed you guys the stats. Let me see if I still have that up here. For those who may have missed that episode, it was a really good episode, by the way. Here you go. Yeah, this is the opponent interception throwing percentage under Joe Witt Jr. Since 2010. It's staggering how good he's been everywhere he's been. And these are with 3 different teams. All the way from 2010 to 2016, that was with the Packers. And in 2019, that was with the Browns. And then 2021, obviously, with the Dallas Cowboys. So it's not an accident that Joe Witt Jr. is a hot commodity. It's not an accident that the Cowboys ended up being really good at getting interceptions. Jerry, throw the bread at him. Throw the bread. So I'm seeing some stuff in here real quick, y'all. Let me just. I'm seeing Tom Brady officially retired. Is that breaking news? I mean, we kind of figure, right? I was trying to find that for y'all. Okay, yeah. What? Hey, Tom Brady just posted something with a picture of him pointing with a heart. So does that mean he retired? Ah, there it is. Yeah. So breaking news, I guess. Tom Brady has retired from the NFL. I'm not going to sit here and go into a bunch of Tom Brady stuff. I will say this. I enjoyed watching Tom Brady as a NFL fan. I tell you that. I was never one of those guys that hated Tom Brady. In fact, I probably hated Aaron Rodgers more, only because of Aaron Rodgers just completely crushed our hearts year after year, it seemed like. But yeah, I think Tom Brady is phenomenal. I think Tom Brady is the GOAT. Y'all know me. I've said this before for those that have been around. I don't give a damn about these whole cheatings. I don't care. Because if it was a Cowboy, I wouldn't care. You get me 6 Super Bowls individually with the coach, obviously. I don't care how you got it. You got it. So, congratulations to Tom Brady on a phenomenal career. 22 years. Dude was in the league longer than half of my age. I mean, it's crazy. Longer than half as I've been alive. That's nuts. That's nuts. I saw LeBron as well. LeBron has been in the league more, I think, something like he's been in the league longer than he's not been in the league alive. That's kind of crazy. These type of guys they're freaks of nature when it comes to keeping their bodies in shape, their mentals in shape, and playing. That's why they're considered GOATs, I know there's memes and there's funnies and ha-ha, he-he's and stuff like that. You can key at them. But when it's all said and done, 10 years from now, you look back and you'll say that, Tom Brady, if you're not doing it now, was exceptional. So salute to Tom Brady. And a lot of people, I'm pretty sure a lot of fans are actually happy that he's gone because Tom Brady played in something like 50% of the Super Bowls since being drafted. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm not 44. Well, Anthony says, Sky, you're 44. I'm not. See, Okoye killing me with that. He got everybody thinking I'm in my 40s. CJ says, Scott, do you think Tony would be a good OC or good head coach, or does he need to stay in the broadcast booth? Don't we hear that a lot, CJ? I mean, sure, I think Tony would be a good offense coordinator, maybe a good head coach too. I don't know. I think so. He's a smart guy. But coaching is different, man. Coaching takes a lot out of you. I just don't see Tony wanting to deal with that. You know what I mean? I don't think Tony wants to deal with the daily grind of coaching where he can sit in the booth for 5 hours, get paid ridiculous amount of money, and be on his merry way. So, I don't really see it happening. That's why usually you'll see, and I'm not saying Tony Romo's some Hall of Fame head coach or Hall of Fame player, but usually you'll see like backup fringe starters, washouts in the league become these quarterback coaches, these OCs, and things like that because they were backups. I forget who said it, where sometimes the backup actually make better coaches because they have to work a little bit harder, or they have to study a little bit harder. They have to see the game differently. They prepare differently, and they're already coaching as they're playing, a la the McCown guy, right? Like McCown's going to be a coach at some point, and he's basically been coaching his whole career. So I don't know if Tony's going to be a guy who wants to deal with that. Me personally, I don't think so. People are like, you kidding me? I hate Tom Brady. Yeah, I don't. I get it. Hey, some people don't like winners like that do whatever it takes, by hook or crook. Cool. I ain't mad at you, bro. But I personally think he's one of the greatest winners of all time, man. Lucky as hell, too, but one of the greatest winners of all time. I got to give it to him. All right. Let's begin the meat and potatoes of this show and talk about this hindsight 2021 edge depth. Give me about 30 seconds. Get your drinks, and we'll come back and talk about one Dorance Armstrong.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions.
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is A to Z Sports Live. And today we are highlighting the defensive end depth, starting with one Dorance Armstrong. Got some opinions on him. And B. Bird brought something up earlier that I definitely want to bring back to light. But before we do that, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this content, and to all your friends, family, and foes, let them know to come here to Dallas Cowboys. A to Z Sports Dallas for all your Cowboys content. All right, let's do it. So, DA was a very interesting case. Because for me personally, I never thought that Dorance Armstrong was this amazing talent when we drafted him. I never thought he was this amazing talent as he continued to be on this team. But go figure, in a contract year, once we dive inside the numbers, he had a career year. He had a career high in tackles, sacks, pressures, snaps. He was a very integral part of this team. But from the outsider view, probably wouldn't think that. But when you look at it here, 23 tackles, 5 sacks, 35 pressures, 6 quarterback hits, a block punt, a touchdown on a fumble recovery, and 19 stops. He made some plays this year, some highlight-making plays, Cowboys Nation, right? Remember the block punt against Atlanta, the fumble recovery, as we see here, against Washington. And me personally, I thought Armstrong looked a lot more fluid this year. I thought you saw that jump. It took 4 years, but hey, it is what it is. You saw that jump. He was more fluid. I thought he was stronger at the point of attack. I thought he contained pretty decently this year. He was more nuanced, I believe. With his hands, he was better. I just think he overall was our best depth guy. And here's why we needed him we needed him this year, because too many times our starting defensive ends missed. Obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence, 11 games he missed. Randy Gregory, he missed 5 games. So the depth was major. It was major. And when I went back and looked at the depth we have now, kind of an interesting position. I think it was Mel who brought this up before. Maybe it was Special K in one of the episodes. You're only sitting at DeMarcus Lawrence right now, Terrell Basham, we'll talk about tomorrow, and Chauncey Golston as well tomorrow. Those are really your only defensive ends on the roster. No more Bradley Nye. Randy's a free agent, and so is Dorance Armstrong. So twofold question, really. First, let's grade Dorance Armstrong's season. How would you grade Dorance Armstrong's year? Again, we can look at the highlights as opposed to just the numbers. Again, like I said earlier, I thought he was more fluid this year. I thought he was stronger at the point of attack. He was good with his hands. When you really go back and watch his tape, there was some really encouraging things. It's just that I don't know. B. Bird brought something up. He said, do we overvalue our own players? I don't want to overvalue Dorance Armstrong, but I want to make sure I give Dorance Armstrong his credit. So my grade's a B. I grade him a B this year. I could even bump that up to a B+ due to him having to step up a lot when the 2 starting defensive ends were out. So I got to give him credit for that. And he showed some things standing up. He showed some things with his hands in the ground. I didn't think he was a stand-up guy. I thought Nolan didn't utilize him right last year. But I think credit to Aiden Durde. Credit to Dan Quinn. Clearly, Dan Quinn's background as a defensive line coach played a major factor in a lot of these guys having good years. And I thought Dorance Armstrong had the biggest jump. Yeah, even bigger than Randy. And I'm not saying he's better than Randy. I'm saying his jump was bigger than Randy. Because I didn't expect any of this from Dorance Armstrong. So let's look at some of your grades that you have here. You have B, says Stage, B, Stevie Mack. I think we're all on point here with the B. I have B as well. B, B+, B. He played, D-Law didn't. Sean says they could/should run a little more Wildcat. Oh, you're talking about something completely different. A A flat. Nobody gets A plus but Parsons. A is pretty high, CJ. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at an A because I can. It's like if we're grading on the curve a little bit, or I can make some certain numbers jump for me. But I think a B is solid because he made a few standout plays, but he would have had to make a little bit more for me to bump it up to an A. A for being available, yeah, but B for B overall. B plus. You can always find another cheap Armstrong in draft or free agent. Now here we go. I was waiting to see a little C plus. TC915 says, and Will Anthony says C. See, I wouldn't go C because I think he was already a C. Like, I think he was a C player coming into this year, and he had a career year, like we said, right? Like, these numbers are all career highs, and then the responsibility that he was asked multiple occasions because of the two defensive ends being out. I got to give him a little break. Got to give him a little break. B. Bird is interesting. He says, when signing players, we should ask ourselves, do they love football and hate losing? I think that's something that sounds like a Jason Garrettism. So now we all agree he was a B. Here's the real question. Do you buy, do you hold, or do you sell on re-signing Dorance Armstrong? Buy, hold, or sell on re-signing Dorance Armstrong. I don't have a market value for DA. Spot Rack didn't provide that. He's not that kind of player. I didn't have that kind of year for them to go out and look at that. So I don't know what the number would be. We can make this a twofold question, but I don't know what the number would be. Buy, hold, or sell on re-signing Dorance Armstrong. And then I'll try to give you reasons for all of them, and I'll give you my reason. Iceberg Q says hold. Jacob says buy. Adrian says sell, hold, stage. TC says buy. Q says sell, hold. From B, that's a lot of, it's mixed here. It's mixed here. Sam says 1 year wonder. I'm personally going to go with hold. I want to scour the free agent market before I decide to come back on Dorance Armstrong. Maybe I go to him prior, because here's the thing about free agents, for those who may not know, but a lot of you do. A lot of you are diehard football fans. For those who do not know, Dorance Armstrong and all the free agents that are Cowboy free agents, there's a window where teams are allowed to talk to these guys and try to sign them prior to hitting the open market. I would let Dorance Armstrong hit the open market. Yes, I'd go to him and say, hey, man, I got a couple $1 million for you. What you think? He's probably going to say no. Then you say, okay, I don't want to bet. I'm sorry. I don't want to negotiate against myself. So I'll let you hit the open market and see what happens. If Dorance Armstrong gets paid, you get a comp pick. If it comes back that no one really wants DA in that manner, then you can re-sign him for cheap. So I'm holding because I want to wait to see what his market value is. But I'm not prioritizing him as a buy because I feel like someone said here, I can get me another Dorance Armstrong. I play devil's advocate to myself. Yes, Sky, you can get yourself another Dorance Armstrong, but will it take 4 years for him to reach where Dorance Armstrong is at now? He's 24, he'll be 25 next year. It's interesting. I just don't view him as that guy, though. You know what I mean? I don't view him as a guy I got to prioritize. So DA makes an interesting case, so I'm going to go with hold, wait and see. Tim Hall says buy. He earned that. He did. He earned it. But to what extent? And then how important is he on this team, right? I'll give you a question. Do you re-sign Randy Gregory for $13 million a year? Do you re-sign Dorance Armstrong for $6 million? I'm just throwing numbers out. I have no idea if these numbers are real. I'm just throwing numbers out there. B. Bird said it shouldn't have taken Dorance Armstrong 4 years. DA Marcus is an unrestricted free agent. He was drafted. Usually, most of the restricted guys are undrafted guys or practice squad guys, things like that. He was a fifth round pick, 4 years. So he's unrestricted, and obviously they're not going to franchise tag Dorance Armstrong. So. Cowboys are already over the cap, says Michael H. Can't be overpaying players for future potential. They'll get the cap. The cap, they can make that stuff jump. I just don't know if DA is worth making the cap jump for, if that makes sense. There's players out there that is worth for that, but I don't know if DA is that one. I did ask that question about Randy, and that reason why I threw out 13 mil for Randy, because the franchise tag is 20. I'll be surprised if he gets anywhere near close to that on a multi-year extension. So I'm like, 18 still seems crazy. 15 seems fair. I feel like 15 will try to get, but maybe they'll settle on like 13. So I think I would go with 13 to that 15 range for Randy over re-signing Dorance Armstrong for a few. And that's not an easy question because Randy has shown that he's been in and out of the lineup as well, right? So I try to make it a little tough on y'all. CB Bird says, I'll take Dorance for 6. See, that's why I try to make it a little tough on y'all. Will says, sometimes it's the system that holds back players. Sure. Absolutely. I got my guy Twan on the horn. What's up, Twan? Twan, you there?
Oh, what's good, Scott?
What's up, brother? Nah, you good.
Just a couple things. One, yeah, I think I'm on the same page about who we agree with. Yeah, I think Dorance had a good year, but I wouldn't bump it up to an A. I think he would only get an A if he had double-digit sacks or double-digit forced turnovers.
Yeah, he would have had to make a little bit more plays for me to bump it up to an A, but I thought he had a solid season, though.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when it comes to if I would buy, keep, or like hold on him, I kind of would have to see how we feel about Terrell Basham. I think you can't keep both of them. I feel like if you wanted Dorance, you would have to let one or the other go, or if you wanted Basham, you have to let Dorance go. So
what if I told you that's not the case?
Why is that?
Basham's not getting paid a lot of money right now, and he's already under contract. So they signed him to a 2-year cheap deal. So Basham's under contract and he's not getting paid a whole lot of money. So you can realistically bring back Dorance Armstrong and keep that depth. That's the whole devil's advocate part that I play on myself, right? Like, do I want to wait for another guy to come in here and develop to Dorance Armstrong's level? Or do I re-sign Dorance Armstrong? You got Terrell Basham in the fold. Now you have 2 depth guys because I don't view either one of those guys as a primary starter.
True, but we do need the depth, though.
You need depth.
I don't want to lose that, so it's kind of tough with me because it's like, I thought Basham was on a 1-year deal, or like it was like a 1-year prove-it deal, and then if he did good, they would extend him again. I thought it was that type of 2-year deal. I think another player had some type of deal like that, but I didn't know we actually signed it for 2 years.
Yeah, they brought him in, got him for 2 years, and again, we talked about this yesterday. I would have did that same deal. I would have did it with J-Ron Curse. They did it with Terrell Basham, which is smart because they got a chance to keep a quality depth guy because Basham was quality, and we'll talk about Basham tomorrow. He got a chance to keep a quality depth guy, but Dorance Armstrong was on his last year, so you can still re-sign him. It's just a matter of how much, and I think it's going to be more than Basham.
Well, I think all on priority that the priority free agents we should keep, or I think it's J-Ron Curse and Randy Gregory. That's my top 2. Those are musts for me. But
100%. The only way I wouldn't keep Randy is if they go out and get a different defensive end in free agency. And I know a lot of people don't like this name, but Jadeveon Clowney would be a fine, I think, swap replacement for Randy Gregory. I do, and that's something that I'll matter of fact, he'll be my guy this week. On Friday, I'm going to do a free agent focus. He'll be my guy.
I don't know about Jadeveon.
I'm going to tell you.
He has talent. He's too inconsistent for me. That's just my opinion. I I'd rather stick with RG down 4. So.
See, I think that's the Cowboy fan in us. Yeah. It's the Cowboy fan in us, man. We love our players so much that we don't realize there's other guys out there. And I'm not saying Jadavian's the only one, but you'd be surprised how good he was this year, actually.
Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I think Olivier Vernon got paid. I think either during the season or this early off season. You know, I think wasn't he like a free agent earlier this.
He tore his. I don't even think he played. I mean, I look it up, but.
Oh, Miami offered him a contract. Yeah, I think he got like a 4-year extension from Olivier Vernon. I think.
Bro, I don't. Olivier Vernon tore his Achilles last year. I don't even think he got signed this year. I guess you could. I don't know. I kind of would stay away from him as a starter. As a depth guy, sure, but I don't know that I would sign Olivier to start.
All right. Well, before I got out of here, I think my final thing on DA. I think if his cheap money, keep him. If he gets a bag, then I guess we gotta let him go.
Yeah.
I thought it was either him or Basham, and I think I would prefer DA over Basham.
Yeah, you don't got to pick. You don't got to pick. Yeah, Basham will be here. He signed a 2-year, $5.5 million contract, so he's not getting paid a ton of money.
Okay. All right. Who do you think played better, though, before I got here? Basham or DA?
I think DA played better. Honestly, I think they were kind of similar, to be real with you. But
I was lucky because it's tough. Like, because Basham showed up in, like, spots here and there, but I think DA was just a little bit more consistent.
I think he was I think he was more disciplined and sound. Basham at times, and this showed up last year in the film when I was looking at him to sign him. Basham, he kind of wants to go get it, and I understand that. He's a pass rusher, to be honest with you. Where Dorance Armstrong, I don't believe he is, a pure pass rusher. Basham wants to get to the queue. And there's times where he got a little undisciplined, a little not sound in his assignment, and you saw that. But overall, I thought he was still solid as a depth guy, but I felt like Dorance was a little bit more reliable. So I'll say DA.
Okay. Well, appreciate you, Scott, for my call. As always, keep doing what you're doing, man. And, I'm always going to be watching.
I appreciate you, Twan, as always, brother. Great stuff, Twan. Great stuff. Yeah, B-Bird, you're right about the boneheaded penalties and things like that. That's why I said, I think last week when we started this series with Randy, it was a tough sell for Randy because of the way he ended the year. That was a game where he could have really made a lot of money against the 49ers. And I think Brian Broaddus was talking about this is a money game. Front offices look at games like this. Trent Williams, Randy Gregory. Is this a guy we can pay? Yada, yada, yada. And I thought that Randy he just lost his control. He lost his composure within the play. I still wholeheartedly believe he was coached to hold because of the way that the Niners like to pull and things like that. But I don't think they should have did that. I can't really fathom him just going out there, something he didn't do all year. Not one single holding penalty all year. And he really could have had like 3 or 4 in that game. And then you had the boneheaded mistakes and he was kind of dirty in that game as well. I just think the pressure might have succumbed to Randy. So I feel you, B-Bird. It was a bad taste he left in Cowboys Nation's mouths at the end of that game. And I'm not mad at you for that. Yeah, Olivier Vernon did not play. I appreciate you guys in the chat. I didn't think he did. And it was confirmed. Let's get to, I think we have Marcus in the building. Then we get to not Twan, 903. What's up, my guy, Marcus? How you doing, man?
What's going on, brother? You doing all right?
I'm good, man. I'm good on this beautiful Tuesday as we work through this off season. I know we're still trying to get through this loss, but I'm gonna try to do my best to help y'all get through it.
I'm way past that, man.
Okay, I'm glad.
I'm so ready for draft. No, you ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to talk me off the bridge, man.
Gotcha.
It's all good. I'll just say this, man. I don't understand, and I was talking to B-Bird in the chat, but it's funny because, like you said, man, it's like, you have to find that equilibrium between being a fan and being, an observer. And the fandom does, we want to keep Randy. We want to throw the bank at Randy. But it's like, dude, you got to look at it also like, he only gave us really 1 year of real production. That was this year. And he didn't give a full year. A lot of people don't want to say that. And when you say that, you're a hater. And why are you watching his pockets and all this other stuff? But it's like, I want availability. And I want the ability I want you to have the ability to be coached up. And like, I think people are expecting way too much from, you said a 5th round pick, right?
I believe he was a 5th rounder.
Yeah, and it's like, it shouldn't take him 4 years to get it together. And I'm like, he was a 5th round pick. Like, what do you want from him? Mm-hmm. But now, the same people who say that will turn around and say, let's go ahead and break the bank for Randy Gregory. And how long has he been in the league? And how many years has he actually played?
Think about this for Randy Gregory.
Gotta be fair.
Randy Gregory played with Tony Romo.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And people like to say, he don't have any wear and tear on his body. I'm like, yeah, that's all fine and good, but it's like the Cowboys have been more than patient with Randy Gregory and him battling his demons. So it's like, you have to they're going to take all that into consideration. Trust and believe. If you're talking about Stephen Jones especially, they're going to take all that into consideration. And from what I saw with Dorance, I saw mass improvement with good coaching. He did improve. Because B-Bird has always said he improved, I think, greatly. And I think he improved in this particular scheme. I think Dan Quinn really had his hands on him, and Dirty really had his hands on him. So, yeah, I definitely want to try to bring him back. And I think that, honestly, Randy Gregory didn't do anything for himself when it came to that playoff game. I think he really hurt his value.
4th rounder, I think.
Really hurt it.
Yeah, I think his value took a bit of a hit. Like early on, it took a hit, but I think once you go back into, when I say you, I mean if you're a general manager, you go back, you look at the totality of Randy. I think general managers won't come high on him. I just don't see it, and it could be his history, which we all know, right? It's not fair, the marijuana, whatever. That's going to be a factor, right? Because when you go into these negotiation tables, what do? They don't care what they're going to bring every little thing out and say, well, you were suspended 5 different times. You missed 54 games. You also got injured last year. They're going to put all the negatives out there. And then as a response, as an agent, you'll say, oh, well, I was a Pro Bowler. You're going to do all that stuff that really don't matter, right? Like Pro Bowls, who cares? But those in negotiation rooms, they do care. So there's going to be that back and forth. And I just think there's going to be more things outweighing the positive for Randy Gregory. So I don't see a team throwing 18, 19, 20 million now. It only takes one, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't see it happening. So I think there is a chance that Dallas could get Gregory back on what we believe is a fair deal, but what Randy may think is his highest price value, which could be something like 13, 14 million, which I'd imagine he'd be happy with, because I don't even know if he's made that in his entire career, Marcus.
Right. And that's all I'm saying. Like, I think we really have to, like you said, we have to get out of this notion of loving our players too much. Like, at the end of the day, like, the organization is what's going to stand, not the player. The player is going to come and go.
Sure.
Like, I'll say this specifically with Zeke, and it's not a diss on Zeke, but when I have people going to bat for him like over and over and over again, I'm like, dude is clearly hurt. Why is he playing? Why is he playing? Why is he playing? And then all of a sudden at the end of the year, oh yeah, I told my PCL and I was playing on that. So you hurt your team because of your pride. You know what I mean? So that's when I saw that, I'm like, okay. And I've always been a Zeke guy, but I was like, come on, man. Why would you be that stopgap in progress with other players because of your pride, and you're hindering the team?
Yeah,
like I said, when you're talking about, I don't want to go off into that particular tangent, but it's just like that kind of solidified my thing.
I'm passionate about that player too, and it's not because we don't like Zeke, man. Like at some point,
right.
At some point, common sense smacks you in the face, man. It smacks you in the face.
Yes.
And the common sense is there. For as much as we love Zeke, we have to understand you don't need a Zeke to succeed in this league. Meaning, I don't need a $90 million guy. But, all right, now, you signed him. Whatever. Got your bread. Now I need you to be that guy. And the problem is, at a position where it's wear and tear, started out great. He started out great. And he's going to probably do that for most of his career, but you wear down. And you continue to wear down and wear down. And then you play through a piece. Do we honestly believe that Ezekiel Elliott's injury history is going to get better?
Not with degenerative knees. That's only going to get worse. But again, you say that and you're a hater, and
I don't care anymore. But I don't care if you want to label me a hater of Zeke. It's not even that, man. Like, Zeke can still be a positive asset to this team if utilized the right way. He cannot be this bell cow back anymore, and this franchise cannot treat him that way because this isn't new, by the way, Marcus. Last year he was banged up too. Last year he was not he was banged up to the point of he was a detriment to himself and the team, and he had to sit down. So this is 2 years running. He has the most carries in the league since being here. He ain't going nowhere this year. But I'm just saying, as a franchise, you do got to come to the conclusion that, all right, man, this isn't 2016. You know what I mean? We got another guy back there who also can get the rock too.
And I'll say this one last thing about Dorance, man. Like I said, vast improvement. I really like to see what he could do under Dan Quinn, and I think that Cowboys have been more than patient with Randy Gregory, and I think that they ought to let him test that market because I don't think he's going to get the tender love of care that he's gotten here in Dallas. I think he's going to go get his bag, and he's going to be miserable. He's going to get his bag, and he's going to be miserable.
Well,
that's the way I see it if he doesn't come back.
Randy, first of all, I'm proud of his growth as a person.
Me too. Me too. Mental health is real.
That's why I don't want to go the miserable route. Because I think he's in a better mental space. I'm trying not to be too I'm not trying to be too forward. I had a few conversations with his parents. And I think Randy's in a good space. I think he could go somewhere and be fine from a mental standpoint.
When I say miserable, I mean like if Jacksonville came calling and said, "Hey man, we're gonna give you $19 million, guaranteed, 4 years."
I'm taking that. Oh wait, 19 guaranteed.
Exactly. But you're in Jacksonville.
19 a year or guaranteed?
I'm just throwing numbers out. Like,
gotcha.
We want to offer you $100 million contract, 5 years. But you're in Jacksonville, so you're getting $20 million, and you're at Jacksonville, a team that's clearly on the rebuild, and you're on the last leg of your career. So, like I said, I want him to come back. I'm just saying, I want him to come back. But, like, I'm not going to shed any tears like, oh, my God, we lost Randy Gregory. Like, I'm not going to shed any tears because, again, I've learned to fall in and out of love with players. Like, you want them to stay, but you can't keep everybody. This is a business. It is what it is. But, as usual, you're too fly for the clouds. You're too down for the green grass, Brother Skywalker. You take care of yourself. God got his hands all over you, bro.
Appreciate you, Marcus. You too. I'll get to you in a second here, 903. Pay me you pay me $100 million. I go play for the Washington Commanders or whatever they call it now, apparently. I don't give a dang, We'll see. I don't think, I know he was being hyperbole, but I think Randy will be fine if he gets the bag somewhere else. He has that natural pass rushing talent. I think that could translate to different schemes. Team success, though, a bit of a different story. He's got his boys down here. He's been with this organization now for what, y'all? 7 years? So I think ties are here. I think the Cowboys have the advantage to bring him back. It's just a matter of how much does he want to, get paid. Dro said, I take $100 million to lose every week.
Super chat.
Top Donnie Burner account says players should cash in. You get one body, get paid. That's how I feel too. And you know what? I missed some super chats yesterday. I apologize for those. Again, man, it's tough when you're the one man band. Let me just make sure I ain't missing any more. Hold up. Wait. Are you ready for the next episode? Hey. Now we good. All right. Will said Cooper turned down Washington for less to stay. Yeah, but Coop got $100 million. Coop probably turned down a couple extra dollars, but he still got his $100 million. You know what I mean? I mean, not $100 million total, but $20 million a year. If Dallas was offering Randy Gregory, Will Anthony, $18 million for 5 years, And the Jaguars were offering Randy $20 million for 5 years. I'm pretty sure he'd come back to Dallas. He's still getting the bag, right? But if Dallas offer Randy $10 million and they offer him 20, I think Randy up out of here. Feel me? Feel me? Tom said, I'd rather get paid than win a Super Bowl, to be honest. Sure. Let's get to 903. What's up, 903?
How you doing? Scott Walker, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Thanks. I'm doing great. I'm glad you're on this morning.
Thank you.
I think Randy will be all right. Like I said, whatever money he gets, he deserves to get. But like I said, Dallas offers something reasonable, nothing crazy, and he don't take it. It's cool too. But he's not breaking nobody's pocket right now. I'm just concerned about the people, the people that do have. I think they can probably let go, from cap space and everything. And also they need to work on that offensive line as well. And I think Dallas needs to learn how to use all the weapons they have. They got great running backs and can give other running backs rest. I think they just did bad management with their players, in my opinion. You
said they get bad. They get bad what now?
Management, like when Zeke should have been set out. I'm sorry. If you go lose anyway, set them out, because then just to make things worse than what it is. And then they need to trap good and clogging up that hole. They need some bigger linemen that can stop the run too. That's what really hurt Dallas the most, is they're stopping the run game.
And see, that's another reason why I this is going to a different side. I kind of am for a guy like Clowney. I think Clowney is phenomenal against the run, but he also gives you some good pass rushing ability as well. Now, it hasn't been the case all throughout his career, but utilized the correct way, I think Clowney could be good in this system. I truly do. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I agree, because you already got they don't need a whole lot of help on the back end for the pass game. They just need a lot of help on the run game. And they got enough players to make up for the pass game, And with Dan Quinn in there, I think, in my opinion, it's only my opinion, if Jerry Jones is smart, I think Dan Quinn may be sticking around, because I think if Wichita don't do it this year, Dan Quinn may be the head coach. That's what I would do. So Dan Quinn have a way of building up a team for real. You know what I'm saying? We need some players who can build up that, who can lead the way. The offensive line needs some discipline.
Yeah, well, what's your name, brother?
My name Andrew.
Andrew, did you tune in?
They put your cousin back in starting position. They thinking.
Oh yeah, I think they. Well, I hope they will. Jeez, I hope they will. But were you watching the show yesterday, Andrew?
I didn't catch it yesterday, sir.
You might want to.
I didn't.
You might want to catch it, because what you're talking about is the second key to Championship Sunday. Get the out the way. Jerry and Steven just need to get out the way and let the head coach or whomever do what they need to do. That's really what you're talking about here. But that was for another show.
I agree. That's what stopped them from getting to the Super Bowl. It wasn't the defense. Remember, their defense made some city plays in the playoffs, but it wasn't all just defense. I think the defense probably got to the point where over aggressive, because they wanted to win so bad, and the offense was failing. I think that's why. I know that man when he made that tackle on defense, Lawrence. I think he just thought it was a running back, because he was trying to. It was a quick reaction. He didn't do it on purpose. I can say it was a quick reaction. He thought the running back had read it too, so he grabbed him and slammed him down. He was, some people, they're over anxious. So that's what I think happened on the defense. I think they wanted to win too bad. They got over aggressive, because the offense wasn't producing.
Hey, you gotta be disciplined. Randy Gregory had that holding penalty on 3rd and 9. That was a killer, or 2nd and 9. And then you had a 3rd down stop from Neville Gallimore, but you had a 3rd down stop from the defense, almost an interception, and then Neville Gallimore gets a hands to the face, and that extends the drive. Those things are, those aren't the referees out to get you. Those are things that you have to keep under control.
I agree, but it's not. It's not. But you can tell it's nothing they just normally do. Now, if it was something they did throughout the year, constant mistakes, I'll say, we need to fix this problem. But for that game and intensity, tell what's going on through those players' mind. Be honest about it.
Brother, they was doing that all year. Cowboys were the most undisciplined team all year.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, and the holding. Yeah, you agree. All right, you're right. especially the holding penalties. On a good run, they get a holding.
Something always came up, brother.
All right, thank you, sir.
Hey, appreciate the call,
All
man.
right.
Yeah, man, something always came up. And I should have told him to turn this house down. I didn't even notice that. My bad, y'all. Something always came up penalty-wise. It was, again, I'm with Jerry. Again, I don't like listening to him too much, but I'm with Jerry when he said, I'm not for this. Let's fix it in the offseason. You had 11 penalties in the first game. You led the league in penalties halfway through the year. Fix it then. There was a super chat.
Super chat.
Brian Gaines, appreciate you for the $4.99 donation. Says draft left guard and center and big quick linebackers. Dak has improved with a declining O-line and run game. What happens when that O-line is back to being solid? Yeah, I'm looking at the left guard spot for sure. If they decide not to move Collins inside, even if they do, I still think you should draft one. And then center, I'm all for getting competition in here for Tyler Biadasz. All for it. I don't think Tyler Biadasz played well enough for you to ignore that position. So if it's first round, if it's fourth round, I don't care. Bring in competition. As for the big, quick linebackers, Brian Gaines, the big part is not up Dan Quinn's alley. But the quick part is, now you'll get these freaking natures like a Devondre Campbell, who's 6'4", 230. But he's not looking for the LVE type, 6'4", 260 pounds. Nope. So if you want a cheat code on the type of backer that Dan Quinn is going to be looking for in this draft, so you can go study him or whatever, you're not wasting your time, you want to be looking in that 6 foot to 6'3" range, in that 225 to 230, 235 range. Usually it's 230. There are exceptions. And the exception is if you are just an athletic freak a la Micah Parsons, a la Jabril Cox, who stands at something like 6'3", 6'4", about 240 something, but he runs a 4.5. He's a cover demon. He's a fast guy. So he's looking for fast, athletic linebackers. And don't be surprised if we get a few undersized guys, because back in the day, the 6 foot, 230 pound, 25 pound linebacker was, what? You don't do that. They're too little. I remember, what's the cat from Florida State? He actually played a season in Dallas. He used to play for the Lions a lot. Escaping my dang on my memory. Then you had Telvin Smith come in, ridiculous fast linebacker. And then just go look at the linebackers that Dan Quinn drafted in Atlanta. You know, the Deion Joneses, Devondre Campbells, they all fit that 220 to 230 pound range. Were rangy guys, quick guys, and relied on athleticism. That's really what Quinn likes. And honestly, that's where the league is at. That's where the linebackers should be right now. You need athletic guys. You need quick guys. You need fast guys, or they're just going to take advantage of you. They're just going to take advantage of you. All right, let's get 903. Wait, did I just have 903 in there? I did. Let's get 325. What's up, 325?
Sorry. I had a question about Zeke's play. I mean, it's obvious, the eye test, that he failed at running the ball after his injury. As to why the coaches kept him in, do you think it was more pass blocking? Because, I mean, he made some hell of plays on blocking. I mean, I remember, was it the San Francisco game or the last game of the season where he blocked two guys at once? I mean, I
guess I'm going to be real. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I think politics played a factor.
Like maybe because he's Dak's BFF. You know, I don't know.
No, Dak don't make that decision. Yeah. It don't matter if he's Dak's BFF. He's Jerry's. You know, Jerry doesn't want to look like, hey, I got a $90 million running back that's only getting the ball 5 times a game, or he's not playing in 5-6 games. In reality, the best way to handle Ezekiel Elliott was, hey, big dog, listen, we're 7-2. I feel like, here's a funny thing. People were saying, oh, we're holding back plays against these bum teams because we feel like we can beat them anyway, and we'll bring it out in the postseason. Cool. Well, then why not bench Zeke so he can rest for the postseason? So I think there was a little bit of politics there. I think it was a little bit of Zeke wanting to show he's tough and he can toughen it out. And there may have been a little bit of, I don't know if I want Tony Pollard to get 5-6 games as the guy.
You're right, because that reminds me of Brandon Carr. I think that they did the same thing with him, They paid him so much money, but he wasn't a top-end cornerback. I mean, he's on the Odell Beckham, highlight, one-handed catch and, incredible catch. But I thought they played him too much when they should have moved on,
That's the thing about Dallas, bro. We talked about it yesterday. They don't move on from players ahead of time. They wait till it's too late. And if that's what's frustrating about the organization. If you're not going to be aggressive in getting players, then at least be aggressive in getting assets for the players that you have that aren't really putting you over the hump.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying trade Zeke right now. I'm just talking about in general. They don't do this ever. When's the last time the Cowboys have traded a player on their team for a quality draft pick or another player? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't either. I just know the Rams seem to be like they went all out and it's paid off for them. Cowboys don't do that. Never. They, it's just frustrating. But thanks, man. I mean, you're right. I mean, because I don't know, to me, it might be a cultural thing, and I don't know how much pull the players actually have, because it seemed like Romo had a lot of pull in the Garrett era, I mean, by T.O.'s exit and everything, So that's why I thought I'd just bring it up.
Yeah, no problem at all, but appreciate the call.
All right, have a good one.
You too, man. Yeah, that's a fair question. I truly don't recall the last time the Cowboys traded one of their own, and I'm not saying do this every year, for a quality pick. And in fact, it's been mostly let's trade for someone. Not a lot. But in the last 5 years, we had Cooper. We had Quinn. I think it's a cat from North Carolina, y'all. The slot wide receiver. He was traded to the Raiders, which I think netted us Tavon Austin. I don't believe it was a crazy. Okay, so they traded the slot wide receiver for the defensive end, who didn't do nothing for the Cowboys, but then went to the Colts and had like 6 sacks. So they don't do that. A lot of teams do that. A lot of teams are shrewd. And I talk about, a couple things you have to be really good at in the offseason. Obviously, draft, being shrewd and aggressive in free agency, and being shrewd in trading, the trade market. You got to be. Switzer, yeah. Switzer, I believe, was traded to Oakland, right? Wasn't it Oakland? I know he ended up in Pittsburgh. Ended up at Cleveland. He was kind of bouncing around a little bit. But yeah, the Cowboys just don't really do that. Jahad Ward, yeah. So it was Ryan Switzer for Jahad Ward, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you see other teams that make these trades on not only trading their guys for quality assets, but trading for guys as well. Dallas doesn't do it. They are firm, lock in step. We're going to draft. We're going to bargain shop, and that's how we're going to try to win. And we're also going to get yes men in here as coaches. But this doesn't work. It doesn't work. Thank you, Roberto. It was Oakland who had our special teams coordinator. Marcus says, I draft heavy O-line in the draft, O-line and D-line, talking about Jay Lombardi. Yeah, I'm still working through the whole draft stuff, and I'm kind of with you. We said this at the end of the season, at the end of the playoff game. O-line has to be up there as a priority, and due to what's happening on the defensive line, so does the defensive line. The trenches are where the game is won. It's cliche, but it's true. The game is won up front, and we need a little bit of help on both sides of the ball. I, for one, as much as I like Neville Gallimore, I'm not ruling out a defensive tackle. In fact, you know what, this may be, we'll get to the DTs. Next week will be the DTs. I'm not going to ruin it. I'm not going to tease it. We'll get to the DTs. I'm going to just say that. That's another interesting position there where when we do the hindsight series and you look back, some questions. Jay Lombardi says, have I seen Damon Clark? I have not yet. I'm still very, very early in this process. I will be watching the Senior Bowl this week. I'm trying to get my hands on the Senior Bowl players right now so I can have some type of insight going into that game. But I have not. But I'm always in the chat. If you're not in the chat, in the comments when the videos are over, the live streams are over, drop names. I write them down, and then I'll go back and look. And for my own, I'll do my own research as well, but I'll go back and look at some of the guys you think I should look at as well. So make sure y'all look at that. All right? Help a brother out. With that said, we are going to wrap this thing up and head on up out of here. Later tonight, well, not me, but Mauricio Rodriguez will be on the channel for A to Z Sports Prime Time. Make sure y'all check Mo out. He dropped a really dang good article about where this offense, I won't say struggle, but what they didn't do. And I think he talked about it yesterday in regards to the trends of pre-snap motion, at snap motion, things like that. Something that y'all know me, been screaming about all year. All year. The Dallas Cowboys ranked at the bottom of the league in pre-snap motion. That's one thing that Kellen needs to change going into next year. But yeah, very good article he did, and I believe he talked about it in the show as well. So make sure y'all check that out. The article is up on A to Z Sports Dallas.com, as well as I believe in his description in the show. So y'all do that. With that said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and press this button, get on up out of here. Later today, I will be dropping all 22 highlights for our guy DA, so you can check that out individually and see where and how he improved. I thought DA had a phenomenal year. So for a reserve guy, I don't want to go out on a limb here and say he's been this great player, but you can check out his stuff later. I'll probably have this drop by noon or so. So appreciate y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. Tomorrow we'll be back 8:15-ish. We'll highlight the end of this Hindsight 2021 Edge Depth series with our rookie guy, Golston, and Terrell Basham. Might have something in Golston. We'll talk about that tomorrow, y'all. Love y'all. Y'all be safe. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out. Appreciate you. Peace. Shout out to Stevie Mac, the Mod God.
I want me some glory hole.